Eamon O'Keefe, very conservative. Yeah. Yes, yes. Oh, right. Yes, yeah. What you get going there? I find as well, the father is just the next so often, you know, deleting the fathers, and I'm sure these are the big it's like, you know, anything that slows you down, you have to avoid it. Did you know that? No. Oh, I see. So they were downstairs outside. I hear lots of music over there. All right. Okay. What ages are your child?
We bridge
Can we see a doll that's in photo or pause? My camera's a lady. Email address.
Definitely get his domain name if we wanted to right now.
Oh, I see.
We were both there. She was there for a while.
Oh, really?
Oh, there's Mom.
Good to see y'all. My tail off. Yeah, it's crazy, but it's all good. How are y'all? Not away from the way
Yeah, I'm 2 hours. We're heading down tonight.
Wow. Y'all were super parents. Oh my God.
Stage will look back there.
I got to introduce you to my
Stage will
my friend Crescent team is one of the best.
Tiffany Mayhew.
Crescent. It's Maura Donnabháin and her husband Crescent King. I'll tell you about Maura. Can't wait to see you all Friday night. We're going to hear some awesome tunes in the warmth, surrounded by orchids. I call her the babe because she's one of the top players. She's also one of the best singers. There's not many people knew Babe Ruth was one of the best pitchers. Not just hitting, but pitching too. So I call Mairéad the Babe Ruth of Irish. We're getting some of the new gigs. It's close to home, right? Not the same. Well, Anne says a special hello. They are working, but they hired a new attorney a few weeks ago. So they settled a little bit. But they're still very good. It's for a good cause. Yeah, this funny. Yeah, this new virus is a little weird. It's trying to make a vaccine. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you after the event. Yeah. Probably Steve or Sequoias or John McKinship, what are you husband keeping chocolate? He ain't a bad out of it. And elusive, tracking him. I was talking coming up inside the week. The leadership got shot. Should have got outlet. Janice and all shot. So that's the agency left. Hospital capital Ellen. Don't rush it. You can see the van element. The van element in a getty area. To make it so good work. Make it happening grounded up the game. Why let your big shot? Why let your take the week over the top. No. Lift in here. Yeah, exactly.
Scarty Mishta. It's Curtis a Tueslish. Yeah.
Cúpla focad faoi bhara ar
Yeah,
dúis?
uh-huh.
Okay.
Georgia, Claire fáilte tá agus ar an dran álimsa an lin an not. Is mis Hillary Sivna agus agreement saw in Forest of Mhaonaigh. I'm Hilary Sweeney and I work here in Western Ireland House. And I'm just going to welcome to all of you first of all. But before we get started, I just want to say a few words about Barra Donnabháin, whose name, for whom this lecture is named. Many of you knew Barra Donnabháin, some of you did not. So for that reason, I'm just going to very quickly give you a few facts about Barra. As Iar Kirkido, Ruga agus Toga in Lep Lane i Donnabháin in Mairéad, Lep in English. Agus bug sé nuair bhí sé in a dhégor go Kirkig agus drastal sé ar Oscail Kirkí oit ar léig sé an Gaeilge agus Latin. So when Barra was a young man, he moved from Lep in West Cork into a University College Cork and studied Latin and Irish. Threis though a chéim a bhaint mach bug sé go this thought. Agus chuir sé faoi I Dexas ar dúis áitir an sé raig ar an Oscail an sin, agus léamh star. Agus threis trí nó ceirfhíon an son, bug sé go nú árach. Barra moved to the United States when he was about 20 or so, 21, and started his life here in Texas, where he studied history in Texas University. Threis sin, after that he moved to New York. Chuir sé faoin seo agus fóg sé dília, agus Lanche Araig Lenas a Hale and Sut in New Art O'Hill. He settled then in New York. Trí a Hale an lawn the on Civigas of Veliga. Cain of Reshe Uber Goffigul Mar Vuntor, Babuntor. He spent his life from then on working full time as a software engineer, and also with his great love of Irish, he became a teacher and an activist for the Irish language here in New York. We went to get a Dalti na Gaeilge, or the Ravulas Féinleis, August we went to get the Irish Echo, Shvishe Alton Shaftanun Chin, August Shvishe Gorilta Coma, Don Falchcon Fuinsha, August Sale, Falcha in Erinigan on Sun. Continuing his life in New York, he had an involvement with Dalti na Gaeilge, which is an Irish language teaching organisation here, and that was where I met him. And he taught with Dalti na Gaeilge and also taught in his own home, and was very instrumental in keeping the Irish language alive and well in New York. He wrote a weekly column in the Irish Echo in Irish, and also wrote regularly for Fuinsha in Ireland and also for Sale in Ireland. So Vishay Lorna Pre Natanya in New York. He was in the centre really of the life of the language here in New York, and all of us who knew him were very, very fond of him. Ferrier for she boss, when she wrote Shelam Yagnak Kuivin Dago him, I think maybe more than 15 years ago now. And so we are very happy to remember him every year in this lecture. I'm happy to welcome Mairéad Donnabháin here tonight. That's Lara's daughter. Welcome, Mairéad. And also her husband Joe. And many members of the Donnabháin clan who are sprinkled about the room. You know who you are. So Shin A Tosulgum Gobwinish Salt as on Lecture and not August by Kuplifakel and Nish O Makola for their Carol. Thank you very much.
Donnabháin is Michelle Padrico Carwin and Reactor Shinshara Regalikinshaw. Agus Taluhar war an art specialta, or Baniski door and an Gajanta, or Shanghai Kamari, or Image Banska, Agus Nihishan in New Nine. Agus the Island Flaja, her winter lead door, a Ligaton Shaw, as Gafton Morgan Chan, Agus the specialta that John as the Louis. Should have had. Nish Taklugus Kyle the raid. We fod an dóin a herbh chuid fidracht agus a chuid ceáil agus leis an grúpa Altan. Agus tá seanhain go maithí mar dúirt me agus is cohann go maith I héin agus a thar Franci agus a Gerhard Garage agus a month session a bhí Húlí agus a bhí Vicky agus an Áiriplein I dór bhís páirte an ahan rud cultúr a bhí I dór san amsin. Agus Horshad Gomor La Severus and Haitch Chaila Regular. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Glucksman Ireland House. This is the 13th Barrow Donnabháin lecture, and I'm very proud to introduce tonight's speaker, who has come all the way from Bidor in the northwest of Donegal, where I'm from myself, and I've known Mairéad since secondary school. And I was actually in class with her brother, Garrett. Mairéad is well known throughout the world as a singer, and she is particularly renowned for her style in Donegal fiddling. She's one of the most important fiddlers out there in that style. Of course, she has recorded many albums with Altan over the years. Mairéad has also recorded with the Chieftains, Enya, and even Dolly Parton. She was selected as Donegal Person of the Year 2009, and she was named Traditional Irish Musician of the Year 2016. She has also presented many programs on Irish radio and television, traditional music programs mainly, and it is a great honour for me to introduce Mairéad, who has brought her own special guest, her daughter Nia, who will be playing along with her. That's your own.
Gur níl maigad Hillary agus Frederick. Smór an honor dús a bhéin seo an ort. Tá sé galanta go bhfuil Machfuil Jesh. Lord for the Donnabháin Call agus tá sé jazz class a lot away. Delighted to be here amongst you tonight. I'll be telling you a lot of lies. Don't listen to a word I'm saying. But the first picture I'm going to show you is where I'm from. Shoggy Dor. Mar sciú me idir mór agus sliam, tá sé an dhearchuisceart gur Mhaonaigh. Agus anhearra go legóní in sin a gurca nuas arin, agus chuann sin go mór leis a síl. But cé go dog ma híal agus ma híhir ar a léirt seo, níl seo fadú dús a mór an Arabi a fadú don cúra as a dascar más. So this lecture is called My Life and My Work, but really when I think about it, it all kind of evolves out of the place I'm from and the people that I'm from and the characters that I got this music from. So before I start, I think I'll play you a tune. So because that's the best way. I talk too much actually. Seo part Jim Mafrita. Seo Shan tune. Sin tanine me tar na méiltí an dúrain funháil atá agus thug duine do chlánaí gríanna. They took the tune of the Blue House of Antrim, not the Green House of Antrim, and put these beautiful words to it. A bhéiltí an dúrain sin hócadú cían Tranónas a táirí nar a líos a rían bíhan de chladaí Dí is the law, sa bhéiltí an dúrain, hits lein le go job. So, seo méiltí an dúrain, agus sinne ma tune na gé, the 4 Mile Stone. So, ram an an seo, bhicin seo ma, Jean Jo. Mairéad, ní rósigh ní ag she got a shame long. She didn't know she was I just remembered halfway through, oh, I need some help here. So Kid packed her hishma packed her in that. Shaw chat a rogu me Sean. Tasha Romani, chat Joe won in Panama I guess had one Chandra Lapo Wayne, I guess Kishna. I guess especially in the but Hashi Mahad Shkiriu, I guess Asheri Doris, the Rinhama. I thought every child had this upbringing, you know, where people played fiddles and people came in and talked about you know, all the poetry of the place. It was be much in the head to go and the Shag Hall, like I said, can't Shan Letziart, like a chance there. I guess shouldn't wear a togu, Misha. Kitty Rumani Gala had us a play him over her. I guess Francie Mooney, not Princess and Winnie, is Koshquadi Door. Mahar. Beneath Heliday, Moher, then on Charlie Pan Beerson. I guess Dibber her mare, Princess and Winnie, a station train at Gidor. There was a train going to Gidor that time. That since has stopped, you know. So in one way, maybe it was good that we had British rule for a while. When we had a gobber galua and a seal, the hollow when Narushi, a cable and then a jake dish, an option hobby. I guess where I had Litrena, living in the Winter Scala, a galash Frederick and Malakia, and ye does Gallier, Legal, Gudgies, Kalash the Aine, and Aliv. My parents were brought up between the two wars. They knew a rural Ireland that hadn't changed much since the 1800s, and they were also part of a new Ireland that had changed significantly since their parents' times, with the advent of electricity and the introduction of vehicles and, of course, the significant political changes that had been abundant, like being tied to Britain for too long and then becoming a republic. Their generation was the bridge between the old Ireland that had remained the same for hundreds of years and the newer Ireland that changed dramatically within a short span of time. It was a time of hope and creativeness. In their time, the Donegal Gaeltacht still is, it's one of the largest Gaeltacht areas in Ireland, but we don't get enough backing. So there's a lot of immigration still, as we know from all the young Gidor people living here. Bhín teangaí agus na seanós na ime, agus bhí líana líní me fásta, began da bhíní agus da tealaí gáil ar imice, mar ní ró leithí fa sawáile. Most people had to emigrate, mostly to Scotland, as tatty hookers, and that is picking potatoes for the big farmers, many not in very good living conditions. They worked as well on the Mickey Dam, which was a big hydroelectrical project in the Highlands, and my uncle Jimmy Mooney actually worked on that. Bhí small Gaelic alots na garbles in Glasgow, na igantraha sawale. A bhí nimmerke Halloween go smerin much a Gidor. Boys no got show, we should go smerin much a Gidor. I guess Miss Megan with the Rashpiji Amshire na main nation and their bagarella tishi na heron. I guess tishi na Halloween a galan in yet an assassinate. I guess British shana legally a crack and pal. It all came to an end with the Battle of Culloden or Culloden. Lair who lather, the sharp Jake has a quick. Jerther in the end of a dream, the Irish Brigade's heroic stand for Bonnie Prince Charlie. With nearly 1,000 government horsemen bearing down on them, the 150 Irishmen gave the cry, Himnigi Lumna agus Fal na Sassana, and marched 5 spaces forward in defiance. After fierce firelight in which the Irishmen inflicted scores of casualties on their opponents, the government horse charged them, forcing the Irish to defend themselves. Runnu slab omlan a gechilordan. Agus marin sin is saicin na ngéil ó hain. Tá dlúdnasc sin le albain bio beithe sa bháile go fáin. Tá bosannaí gáil go rialta ó dhéar chuisceart go na ngáil go Glasgow a han deireadh seaartne. Sin daoine non le daoine Mointre aicead na le beidir foreign Celtic alliance. That ancient connection with our Scottish fellow Celts is very much alive in Donegal. People are toing and froing all the time. My mother, my own mother, she would know Glasgow far, far easier than if I brought her to Dublin. She wouldn't know where to go. So Glasgow really is the capital of Donegal.
Yeah.
When people went to work to Scotland, they brought back the songs and the dances. So I'm going to sing you a song now that I think came from Scotland originally. It's a song called Avana the Hall, a Higo, and it's a really old song. It's found in the English language in Scotland and in Ireland, called Twa Sisters in Scotland, Two Sisters in Ireland. But the song in Gaelic tells of these two women in love with the one man. One of them happens to be married to him, but the other one decides to get rid of her because she loves him too. So it's a great story. So they're down at the water's edge one day, and the lady that is jealous, she decides to ask the wife, can I comb your hair? And while she's combing the hair, she weaves it with the seaweed. And this is really the conversation that goes on between the two women. As the woman is drowning, she's saying to the other woman, will you help me? And she says, no, I won't, I'm going home and I'm going to marry your husband. And she says, well, will you tell him? I said, no, I won't. And then she says, my father will find me tomorrow morning. And she says, no, he won't, I'll come down and cut you off, and you'll be gone. And then she says, tell my children I said hello. And she says, no, I won't, because I'm going to have other children. And then the last one is, I've had such a lovely house. And she said, but we'll have a nicer house because we'll have glass windows. So it must be from penal times. So Vanna the Hall a Higo. Tomorrow hey gal we a Higo. Gerami danani hogo. Smavra la gal mahurna tre. Smagola tale malyon. Savannah the Hall a Higo. Tashuna tresha hogo. Natruale banner hurikoi. Shikala bar malyon. Onyal movila higo. Nama farcha hogo. Gus nuar na waller hurikoi. Shikala banner bar malyon. O chokki mera higo. And was van treia hogo. Es joisha misham of ratan wagweche gola tele malyon. Oni hockey there higo. And was van treia hogo. Nachoki mahila buenle. Iskili the castle malyon. Atellan banog mahigo. Egan huigreia hogo. Spellan banog mahurikoi. Egan reihen malyon. Ovellan banog mahigo. Egan huigreia hogo. Spellan banog mahurikoi. Avis no waste malyon. Onan dan vrioga higo. Era hasen mecha hogo. Beiti galar hurikoi. Kas panyagi kwaniki malyon. O mission vanoga higo. Era hasen techa hogo. Beiti galar hurikoi. Kas panyagi kwaniki malyon. We'll pack the living with O'Shea. Sure, Meher small ahead, a lay a canal you yet Morigera, Shinale, a dear Francia Kitty a foss. So, we should tease my girl and make us lock. Shinaka lock, Kim Fat, someone showed them away.
Jimmy and my shriek.
Yeah, far cladding it.
Oh, Nani.
Nani, go Sarah lock back there. Now, show me her more, she's down on Charlie, and I guess she more her, Maggie dance. Is she Fia Bien yet through, there was 20 years between them. Yeah, and this is my great grandfather there, and they had these funny clothes on them. Look at these. Great, I think he's my great grandfather. That's on Charlie, and these, that's Eddie Diver's father. I heard, would you know these people? No, that's Eddie Diver's father, I was told. No, Eddie Diver from Coshclady. Yeah, that's his father. This is my father when he was young. I think this was taken in Drogheda when he was teaching there. So thanks for letting me know. So, but that song came from Scotland, I was saying. I guess he goes a hogo was it vocables. Sheelan Gadani Shaz Dollaway. At the Michel Henyon couple of Highland, another point the Dini Eskidor and on Hogshead all wearing, I guess Highlands. I guess shot couple of Highland to Hannigan all. Is sure to much shame, sure. Something that Hanyum Yahabiatu, I guess shame with a real and the Nefa. So Shazzy says committing the Dini, listen to it. So Clutchiklet a chumshan a glantan lasky door. I guess Jinsha gur chumsha shaw and the hisal fosha. So she man lead kukas a kahe fosha. I guess she mo ahead and hit then you chulun to him. So my mother was the first woman to hear this. I only heard this recently, like she has a little bit of dementia and She's telling me loads of things now she never told me before. So they were courting the night before they got married, and my father sang her the song because he had just written it that day. And the following day they had the breakfast in Fósú acu. Agus hannig asherí vidóiriste agus thug siad láfa hiúliad agus ní bhfuair siad fiú bhain patrí tarniste bhain na bhainte. So they went off on honeymoon with 40 other people to Glasgow. So seo leantan osci dóir agus what you need to show. It's like schläfte wirga ahon dahiunanal. Agus gleich it's like an yargolard and the stuas can clear the skull. Now watch me shart le lochan lui go cunyan selan na li. Emo yevig land and lasky door is bag na her lish mughri. Eg tash ta duma frisch greg landoin san woge shermuku. Nier veste dure hele brons ledre gorassa hel mishesu. Go America shiara vi motial awatar naligewod. Dag ma slanger faushal eg dunanal sig lantan laskidor. Nir ve moviansa amarterio hier vegilshin. Atron la gale kwanslefal ahom mein megin. Berun mo prisa palurish na yenin bagan stor. Es janu mohil a chaulen wil balang tan laskidor. Slan go for a hunanal a hon dai gan smile. Is the hare vrein no manne naruli the yare love. Tech mohri da gafar skamri scrapwesh to bagus more. At the biogo buan gan worch gan ruam palantan laskidor.
I should
Well, Francie, Maher, is muidir scála bhí an for seachiad fásta nóir hiad aha, agus an sin hanna se go duna ngáil gur an meltain cógra a balla leite canan. An sin sa jeru for se post mór muintir scála a scáil ní bhhain na ní dór. Agus cé gur hen Maher, cé gur hen sin fadag Spain agus an feithan áige, bhí se cúnig gurí fidula el an ní rón jeis i gceanna go bhaitir fidula el. Agus bagréile chat na munis a le ja modini chat a cortiert acu. Agus bagréile sin buin elemi na sin buin Magriana hart Dominic agus bhfuil fidilis. So Shan Buin Magriana was a very well-known poet from Ranafast, and he came over the shortcut through the bog every Sunday night to the Mooney's household in Coshcladdy with his fiddle. I think he was after my auntie as well, but that's beside the point. And my father used to be sitting, he said, on the ground, you know, drawing with, and he said he used to draw with the old, you know, the Dugini, because they were chalk, they were made of chalk, and he'd be drawing pictures. He says he was totally captivated by this fiddle player and the fiddle. So, Huntai Shen Buan Harty, Yuan Narhanisha, a Soru Nigel, I guess they're trying to raise Kanogiki shot, so when this one has a young one, I'll give it to you, he said. So he was waiting for that all his life, but he went to college and got his fiddle. But right off of Austin, the Nuakta na Leo, Igni Ernia, because Bagrella function, capital, like a scansally, and a row later, because bunchen bit of balgum tea, na rodness ni sledger because it's in Hosham Yaw. Because Bagrella mo her more, Roshevig, Roshamoya, Brelation concertina, well, I guess, books the call. It's when cooler shock more of I'm in my hair, more gas, I guess. We shall go ni Cruia, we shall go ni Festra, we shall call. So, we're sport to Moiga, we should an owl. He was really lucky because he was the youngest of 6 in the family, and he got a scholarship to College to Aina, but then he went and did school teaching in St. Pat's in Dublin. And my auntie, with the second youngest, Mary Ferry, she was taken to London because these people that came very frequently to the Court Hotel in Gidor, they really liked her and they offered to bring her to London, and she became a midwife, and she has many stories of World War II there and being part of the Blitz and all of that, but that's another story completely. So I'm going to play you a tune now, my granny's, and this is an old tune because she would have known and people are more, but I'll talk about him later. But this is a tune that my father directly got from his mother, so Roshamoya, Roshamoya. So, just us. So, Nillis going to get Fanny with their Sean Reed. So it's a very old tune, like ourselves. Shenyam le Teresa Kavanagh and the Cornell agus Shoha Reed Nor Bogrelin Scoglievri Frankie Kennedy at the Frankie Kennedy Winter School. My father and my brother and sister were very much involved in putting that together, as I wasn't able to be part of it, as I was very busy, and Frankie being my husband, I found it very hard to be part of something. You know, it was a very difficult time for me. But luckily, that's now, we did it for 20 years, and now it's Scoglievri Vidor. So it's fantastic that the young people of Vidor have taken it over. So going on to the music of Vidor, Sean Puibaramor, Tarla Maxirne, So, introduce the Gormo Hair War, Quid War, Coy, and Puibaramor. Well, come here, because White Woman Year of Puibaramor. Have you heard of the Puibaramor? Yeah. So, Tarla Maxirne, he lived from 1831 to 1916. Then you Eshgak to Levion. Mhaonaigh o Clontimnian the Dua. He came from the McSweeney's of Doe Castle near Creasla. So you'd be part of them, I'd say, Hilary. There's part of the family, I know. So there's a great story told about Tarla Maximnia. He was found trespassing on the grounds of the castle by the landlord's security men, and he was reprimanded, but his retort to them was, "It is not I that's trespassing," and proceeded to show them the written right of the land that he had possessed. So that's one of the stories. But we come here in Moher War, Maggie, Den on Charlie, at Hugh Moeta, at a Weber more, it shinim to me than a ha at a lunny. Not of a shishig as the courage and Codger the Snakivin Heaswe, and she wrote the small at the hen she put it on had low gala buena. Unlike the other men in the locality, his hands were pure white because he never held a spade in his life. His kilter len on should have been on vineyard in the barge. So he came from that profession, long, old, ancient bardic tradition where poets and musicians were revered in the courts of the kings and the chieftains. And he, Carla McSimney, he felt he was royalty, and the people also looked at him as royalty, even until modern times. There was a few musicians who looked at themselves as being from that lineage. He had an aura of loyalty and conducted himself, but he came to North America by invitation to play at the famous World Exhibition in Chicago in 1893. Expedition it was called, was it? I can't remember. Very sure you missed it. He spent 6 months there playing his pipes in a replica of Donegal Castle, which was built on the site. This is where the renowned Captain Francis O'Neill, who was of Irish descent and a captain of the police force in Chicago, who wrote the famous reference book 1001 Irish Dance Tunes, and was also the author of another very important book called Irish Minstrels and Musicians. So he wrote, in particular, this is where we find one of the only photographs of Tarla Maximnia. As you can see, he was a proud man, and Captain O'Neill devotes 5 pages of that book to Maximnia, in contrast to most of the other musicians in the book, who he only allocated 1 or half a page to. Such was his intrigue of Maximnia. He writes, he was a great character and projected a personality reserved, mysterious and aristocratic. As Kinch gur Haig Francis O'Neill gur Kull Arson the Hayden at Tarla Maximnia, because at that particular exhibition in Chicago, there was a Patsy Toohey who was kind of the young whiz kid of the pipes, and he was the modern piper, he was the pop music, while Tarla Maximnia was the old ancient music. Tarla in Mhaonaigh and Shishkielty, he was great at telling stories. Jinsha the Ahaninja Gorom Shahad Kyoil or Rina Shia. Agus Wishna for Sha a Lord, he Grohad Kyoil and Reart. It happened that the music book that was bestowed to him by the King of the Fairies was a copy of the ancient book O'Farrell's collection of national Irish music for Union pipes, published in 1804. And I still think people still have that. But there's a kind of a folk tale at home about Tarla Maximnia winning the World Championship of piping, which never happened at all. But this was the story that was going around. And that the tune he won it by was Glucksman the Bi-lingual, which is a song I sing, you know. Well, we're going to play you a version of that that's Highland. No, and Nia looks at me kind of saying, do I know this tune? That's it a bit. So Glucksman the Bi-lingual, more Highland. So this is maybe the one that the one that Tarla Maximnia won the World Championship. Maximia. A bhí fada ag an nám Kieran ní dór agus seo ha. An second month fighting, the patriot priest of Gidor, Father James McFadden, 1842 to 1917. He was born in Carrigart and came to the parish of Gidor in 1873. Now, himself and Maximia were contemporaries, but that's about as far as, you know, they had nothing else in common. Because Father McFadden didn't like music, didn't like merriment, he didn't like drink, and he was known to have broken a few fiddles along the way. They were very, very different characters. And actually, my mother had a story about Carla Maximia playing at a Cayley one night in Sconlunny, and Father McFadden had this kind of shillelagh stick that he used to come in and, you know, try and stop people dancing and having a good time. And he came up and everyone scattered except the piper, the professional piper that had aristocratic ideas about himself. And the chilish, Tina will this again. Hanik mission show, Ogum le Yaharanya go fall. I'm supposed to get Yaharanya Marilla.
Half a crown.
I'm supposed to have half a crown and I'll leave you then. He said so. Father McFadden had to give him half a crown. That was the end of that. So he stood up to him, but Father McFadden was very important. He championed the cause of the land league and encouraged his parishioners not to pay rent to the English landlord because they were very, very poor and like there was nowhere else to go. Is Kate Hassie Shag the Bangin Lenodini was a Nero Morris and I guess a Kiln and Roddy Mershon. But his parishioners stood by him and the RIC under District Inspector Martin came to Derrybeck Church one Sunday morning to arrest him for his part in defending his people against being evicted. A scuffle broke out where Inspector Martin was accidentally killed while trying to arrest the priest, and subsequently 40 men from the parish were sent to Marlborough jail along with the priest. Now that's Portlaoise today. So that was the end of we hear of Father McFadden and anything to do with the music, but his memory still remained in people's head and they wouldn't play music publicly. So we mad Erwin Donnabháin but Hoshi Shinim probably a hain agus shot Joe Jack agus shot Jimmy Denny. So Shun mad Jimmy Denny agus Joe Jack agus being Yankee Sawala at Thompson then Winston Jimmy Denny. Agus vi ihor kjol the kanya wahi kommer in show he's the Joe Jack Mairéad. So my father and Joe Jack were the first two people to start playing music publicly after McFadden's you know Cahill and Lewis at a hill. So hashi shitchin and kjol during the Shaska Digas Brad Shane agus Denny Jimmy Denny. For Jimmy Denny had wearing on a ahead hain Denny. But his father, Jimmy Denny was in the middle there, he was a great singer. But his father died when he was only 9 years old, and he had all his songs from him by the time he was 9. An incredible man, died very young, great friend of all of ours. And I'll sing you one of Jimmy's songs. Jimmy was a farmer, and he'd come off the land. Was a Nate Lyle Mhaonaigh and we had a second career na Bicajeva Chajanu. I guess in Shan Hoksha was Hasha Chahol, a table, Narabo Nursi Heart Gold Tea. I see Michigan Shop Galanta. I just thought it was so lovely. His music was part of his life. It wasn't kind of out of books. And he used to sing like Chucking Saurus Waisin Fair when he'd be working with the father and all of that. I'm mixing up my Irish and I need a translator up here. So Kilma Kenda had Jimmy, but he had many songs, even though his father died when he was only 9. Short Kenda Hodge, he said Jahatori. It's not very common. And it tells of the wake house, which wasn't really a bad thing long ago. Somebody had good innings. It would be a kind of time for young people to meet and have a bit of fun. So at Chahatori, at this wake house, this man meets the love of his life. And it's a beautiful love song. So I'll sing it for you. Do you remember the you want over my bladder about you?
Yep, the guard.
Right, okay. So short piece of Chahatori. Bimala Brasauri Lantan Schlides Mege Scholba Harley Dus and Spavan Sigurd Liste San Ejukor Vi Hattes Dirna Klokari Agus Bokli Progressis Vishi list the more and Stavan Penaconi Moliwi He's a Jahatori her Mahal Sermo Halidon Jeriga Gruay Malaros Establish Bilin and Shuredam Female Wana Grewan Agus Kerva Ekebon Gran Oh, the Ishkin the Findigling Le pleasure were vishi on. O vimala kukawer mukalas me ekigamati vi skarna amerikanuta gremukri ni har en kjærgemalari na skiden kikar magobi Pemma og forjekoni es ni fasme agremukri Om du herre fjer mahalas han og vrivi malliwi Dar langar bi and chargi nan real polish of you gal romsutli Frekni shigomor me snabos me in vannahi Mo wicked slango Leshan o givri vi maliwi So, she Jimmy thing Donnabháin when you call the God so well is we birch fra a more. There was two sisters in Dore as well that kept the music and songs alive when it wasn't that popular. Kitty Gazani Onyeming. Their brother is Hudibag who owned Hudibags. And one year Vircha go Mhaonaigh na harak that she I guess first she a good call o Sheila Vicky, who was an auntie of the TD Denny McGinley. Sheila Vicky was great, but there's a great story that Seamus Ennis talks about Sheila Vicky when he'd come in the door. She would say, "Oh, Bristol, Seamus, the Shatarshtas, call you Lemo at him." So she'd be given up to Seamus Ennis that he was actually she had stuff to do and he was just coming in to get her to sing songs. But this is where Mhaonaigh came from her. And Mhaonaigh, there's a great story Vincent Campbell tells about Mhaonaigh. He plays these tunes and they were always very random tunes. Sometimes he'd call it Donnabháin Barra, and sometimes he'd call it When the Ship Leaves the Harbour, depending on who the audience were. And he says, away Donnabháin, now what is that? Half man, half fish. But the scale galan der húl an nuair an seo, but it on yesgare a hannig maid an waru where he's at a tray. Agus vísi get that niticha a karan gynne niti jarmad kabasi agus hokshan wali agus fallshai a piantan the yation be pushed yaku kwedra agus maya agus hoksha the first in a karan low anyways stable hoksha the shag maher and karan agus kalua agus hanik shishan karan thing a big yet that egg as a lot on fire get so call them a choli yellow. And just gonna come up all by.
Take care.
Is a superlative, not great and down, and schnarre go frasa. Togu Mhaonaigh na Mhaonaigh yn siwr ysgraban. Hashi dini chart na wale, pelu na wale, o Nemerke. Togu Arclan gyda sna quigadi. Agus siw ffordd na a fi un talar na Mhaonaigh. Bagrai Ashley gyda a local amateur drama group that my father was very much involved in, made a name for themselves before they had Arclan at all. And they would go all around the country with their translations of John B. Keane dramas, you know, the Crichton and Field and Clerk. And they also had variety shows as well. But then they got this fancy Arclan in Gidor, and we were all brought up in the Arclan as well, especially when my father started to write pantomimes in the Irish language. but they weren't like the English pantomimes at all. He based all his pantomimes on local mythological figures like Balor na Súlan Nive, Balor of the Evil Eye, and Dermot the Gasgrania, Tarla na Dua. Balor of the Evil Eye, I think Tolkien took a lot from that story because you know, the Cyclops, and he lived, he had 40 pieces of leather on his evil eye, and it was prophesied that his daughter's lover would kill him, so he put the daughter in a big tower on Tory Island, and they were the Fomorians, and of course it was just beautiful stories, and all these stories really influenced me as well as a child, because they were, even though they were mythological stories, every rock and everything around us, that's where Balor was, that's Yahweh Dermot the Gasgrania, Dermot the Grania slept there, and you know, Clothley Mitchell, that's the one Finn McCool threw over. You know, these were all alive in our minds, so no wonder we're all mad. So, I know Pwedig was involved in the Gamma the pantomimes that my father wrote, and it just gave a lot of the young people, it shortened the winters, and it made us all, you know, we didn't need computers, I suppose, but there's a lot to do. Pag Jesh doing Matina or a Nul, agus Pagshan Erdan, the Vini Costla, Arkshaunish, Clonid, agus Aine, agus Shinikia Erdan, a way Clonid, it's where Clonid, the world famous band and neighbours of mine, and Daniel New Brennan, she was in the Fairies along with myself many years ago. We were two beautiful fairies. Sean Thurdan Foster, Hoshi Mhaonaigh, agus Frankie Kennedy, agus na Moonies, Sean Witcher and Sean Gara, Joanie, Mairéad Anna, you don't see her at all actually. Nia, Sean Kieran Noini, agus Mairéad Garrett, agus and Sean Mhaonaigh, agus Frankie Kennedy Foster, Sean Midge, my late husband Frankie Kennedy and I, when we were growing up, we had this idea that playing music would be very nice, and we were teachers, and I remember my father saying, "What about your pension, if you can believe it?" I should have listened to him. Here I am still playing my music. But Frankie passed away in 1994, but we always remember his great wit, and I wrote a tune for him, actually a tune for Frankie. I just played it once over. But I remember I was stuck in Milwaukee in a snowstorm. We met in Milwaukee, it's near my job the Bobo Mahas, agus Hashima Kunu, agus Fonalma, agus the Milish, the Port John, the Suez Compet, agus the Chabation wine or a Vashakrini. It'll be good when it's finished. So this is a tune I wrote for Frankie. So in the chain, Clonid, agus Aine, agus na Moonies, agus Puan Daniel O'Donnell, Canu, agus could war Culture Yoga. And recently I was told that within a radius of 10 miles from the heart of Bidor, that musicians and singers have sold well over 100 million units in music. But that's a modest estimate as far as I know. Because Anya Brennan herself has sold nearly that without even bringing in Clonid, Daniel O'Donnell, Scarabray, the Bothy Band. These people have all connections with my area, and I'm very proud of all of them. Now there's a new generation of singers starting. The common forward we door, Corborus the forest, the Scott Kjol in the Cranoige, a genus Sar or Leran the Kjol. And I remember when we were growing up, my father would be trying to teach us music. There was no interest. There was about 10 people wanting to learn or less. But now there's over, how many people going to the Crana? Nearly K8 a day? About 400 pupils a week. Carway came in and shown rud codulish na rangana na been fáile gum agus teagas gum wuran na héite agus portani na héite donna daldi. Tá fásta rangana fahonia ashtar arton agus tá sinna jana gumai. So na na harshan called the Viking kaita walman o she. So sin skal kjol na krana agus a mas skal kjol na krana hanig an kranog agus sin na kjol riog a liglir the kjol hartfon wale ta kahal koran agus amani yeriske agus noli ni khala agus kjol tari den sky. They're just amazing young musicians, and I can only I remember Danny Meehan saying to me, all my heroes used to be older than me, but now all my heroes are younger than me. So I feel the same, you know, all my heroes are younger than me. But I'm also part of Cardiff na Vidleri, which actually you have a picture here of somewhere. Yes, Cardiff na Vidleri, that's one of the first summer schools that we Hanike Creevy Mugay is Philadelphia, the one who gaye doctor at town, agus vi samin agus a kjol, agus prosha anir me her garage naliv. Agus hoshi sha galig paddy glack and fast the funny rangani vigile agus vi samorga agus for John Doherty the the Kiltry more here honel boys and media got was a heen agus hockly ship. But your chartly yellow they are going to Highlands Hotel, there's no Kiltry ligler at the Shanagas East the Hurley Yellow. When you row the Jeru Chartler Ray Omlan Ihol so like an album. I guess Hashi made Cardiff na Vidleri, the friendship of fiddlers to promote and to maintain the fiddle music that's so unique in Donegal is completely different to any other fiddling in Ireland. And maybe it's the people as well. But it has different tunes, it has different styles, and it has a great character. But Shinati were it's Cardiff na Vidleri, because shock can done a hit Scotland na Viogan, could work all for Shin Misha Mahain and Shin, Keeving Mugay, Shin Dermot McLaughlin and Shin Damien Harrigan, Roisin Harrigan, Paula Newhine. Woord Kiltry, Shin Stranchery, and Shin Banis, Shin Faris, the Harik. Nelis come here the Ligler, Shin Kendon here, Ram Fidgila Dion. Because Ahan Bien go bien to Lahan, being Ram the Fidgila, East England Column Kelle, he had Sharping the Lunasa extension, be Jerry Sharpney Fidgila going Sniglantis, Highlands Hotel, and me, man forward. Agus she canga Johanna she know the Stawarty Deuce and Hortantisog agus Tamagal Hoinia. I'm going to put me on the spot now because the most important thing to me about my music is to give it to others because that's what generously was given to me. So Nia's going to maybe sing or could you do the So show getting interested okay to thank So vi meisje agus Mohair Moore Nia Mohair na Burnia, Dermot Burns' grandmother, her father's grandmother. This is a version of Kajishan Don Chashan Namoyin Shindo. Whoever it is that it doesn't it's none of your business.
Nobody's business.
It's nobody's business but your own. So, Tania Colligalshan.
Her wake from the attic, it's her any way.
The wedding jig, I guess the can journey. The wedding jig hannig sin ó Cassaide is chilling. I guess Shintanium sin rud a Harlaha, but it go Jean Stelle Polsu, I guess henny the wedding jig. I guess it's in a chart of Madi for henny had the water go jump. So you're that's Major Marlon. So the henny wedding jig is Jake ran the first affirmage or shan tape the Hudge John Doherty and the Mulliv. So
Mairéad says the couple of shop the shop was that. She says the couple of Kester Everett. A few questions. Any questions? Kester, a question.
All right.
Sure.
I feel like switch of era, I mean, kind of the well tradition ledger, the row around those tradition ledger, over on Berla Ashthrough, Northampla and Lagan Lakes, a bunch of train, or in the upper, sure, you know. Will by yoga, you know, what Blanston, Washington Ocean, Slide Newton?
Emma Nearish here, and she could roar Ashtrahan your Popway. Could you Jim Kenner on she? Couple of candles, near some the bands, more did run I guess good word in ye girl. I guess when you the kind of the sound of silence, I guess when you she it is college to Lorgan, come on, you nail tart Donnabháin. She will be though the Emma Jenner job is pension lishna hashter or within Noah was it Noah Homick, you know, the singer songwriter within na most of them say for the people after she impact Marshall her before the G question.
My mother's from the area of Eudora, she pronounced it. Two legends she maybe met, she told me about when I was a child was the power of Tory Island clay,
Yep.
a character named Eddie Fatty. Are you familiar with either or both of these?
Yeah, if you have Tory Island clay, you'll never have rats in your house. but if you have to be given it by a Tory Islander, and you can't ask for it. So don't ask for it, and it has to be given to you by a Tory Islander.
I bought some home from Tory Island and I spread it around to City Hall in New York.
Well, is it scientifically right?
You know Nettie Foddy?
Sorry, who is that?
A character by the name of Nettie Foddy.
Nettie Foddy, no. Maybe I do, but
I heard all sorts of stories about me. He was the first person in Mina Clyde to have electricity, the first person to have a car, which he had to push half the time.
Well, I didn't talk about Tory Island because that's where my people actually, the Moonies arrived in Gilore on Tory Island. They were boat builders. So, it wasn't, the chat last year was about Patsy Dan, and I didn't want to delve too much on the same subject, but I got loads of songs from there, and great people, they're great people. Patsy's wife asked me and I to go in and play at his funeral last year, so.
I have an advertisement from a Letterkenny newspaper, a full page, selling furniture, and there's a couch with a man reclined on it that says "fit for a king." And there was himself.
I have a few questions for you. Could you speak a bit more about what makes Donegal fiddling unique as compared to other regions? I'll ask my second question.
Well, I'll tell you my theory why it's so different, because it's so cut off. For years it has been cut off. Like I remember when it was just a dirt track from Letterkenny to Gilore, so you know it wasn't a very pleasant run at all. But it's cut off by the Derry Bay Mountains, which is a kind of an extension of the Caledonian range that comes down from the Highlands of Scotland, and then you have it politically cut off by the north. So the inaccessibility is has really promoted the style and the accent of the style, and also the people had that huge connection with Scotland. So a lot of the tunes we played tonight actually were Scottish-based tunes. Some of them were composed in Donegal, but most of them, the rhythms of the Highlands would have come from Scotland, and that Scottish connection is very strong in Donegal fiddling, where if you go down the west coast of Ireland, it becomes more fluid. The fiddling becomes longer bows, you know, and more ornamentation using your fingers rather than using the bow. So for instance, in Donegal we play a lot of, you know, all the ornamentation is the bow, While if you were down from, you know, it'd be just smoother. I can't even do it. It would be a smoother situation. So like, there's a huge range of tunes that isn't played anywhere else as well. Same with the songs, actually.
Thanks. And then my second question is, what do you think, maybe your daughter can speak to this a bit, what do you think accounts for the resurgence in interest in music among the young people, and what kind of music are they playing? Are they trying to just learn the classical tunes?
So, well, Katia will do the vision. I translate.
Well, I didn't have a choice.
Yours not right. Yours not right.
And then all my friends were playing music in the car, I took the pictures, and I just was brought up with it. And it's easier when all your friends are playing it because you can go out. And usually we go to sessions and then we might go out and to the discos after. But I like it because all my friends are playing it, and there's a lot of young people now. Everyone's more interested in it because like the fla and everything, people are into competitions and stuff, but we're not really into competitions in Donegal that much. We just enjoy it.
Good girl.
Magnor, well, Condition Generation Meeting. Na Jenny Jarmut for Altan Shinim, but I kissed away now. Okay, one more question.
Oh yes, it didn't go down. Yes, down in Glanty's. Oh yeah. The Campbells. Well, I can't do some more. The Campbells are a tribe all onto themselves. Every festival should invite the Campbells because poor Vincent died a year and a half ago, and Donegal Fiddling isn't the same without him. But himself and Jimmy would go on stage together, Jimmy's son, and next thing they'd start playing, and Vincent would start a Highland and Jimmy would start a Mazurka. You know, and they'd start a huge argument and say, well, we decided to play the Mazurkas, and then, you know, the two of them, oh, they're just the best fun. It was like a comedy routine. But we all go to Denny's and Aidan Anfa up near Glanty's. The Watcher? Ah, she, well, had Gaelic all on the West and well, it's a very rare place because you have to really know where this pub is to get to, and it's like going into fairyland. You know? it's worth going to.
Okay, na Jenny Jarmut Gumay Altan Shinim
Yes.
Symphony Space Turnover to Donny in a hop to remember that Altan are playing at Symphony Space Sunday, 8 o'clock. This Sunday.
Yes.
Mhaonaigh Mairéad for the raid. The results were Doris America. Mhaonaigh Mairéad. They saw Sheila File, he's a there are refreshments down.